another edition of Straight Shooter Sports Talk, and I'm your host, Dujane Bland. We're going to have a quick show today. Try to get in our picks, being that we will not have a show on Friday. We'll be out of town. And we'll get it kicked off by talking a little NBA. And the NBA, well, first, before we get into that, it's very unfortunate, again, to hear of anyone, whether it's a family member or non-family member, losing their battle to cancer. And once again, another human being has lost his battle to cancer. NBA's courtside analyst, Craig Sager, the man with all the many suits, lost his battle with cancer. And that's just sad news today. And for anybody to lose their life to cancer or to anything. And it's very unfortunate. Once again, it just seems like all the time we're hearing something, someone being, and their families are being touched by cancer. So very unfortunate for him. And man, the only thing positive out of that is that no more suffering. Well, in other positive news in the NBA, there won't be a work stoppage. How great is that? They come to an agreement, the collective bargaining agreement between the NBA and the Players Association. So they will no longer have to worry about a work stoppage or a league stoppage. Looks like they've come to an agreement of the league or the games as far as the schedules being a little bit earlier, shorter preseasons, earlier league start, which takes out these back-to-back games, which, it's not like basketball, is not like football, of course, but guys get wore out. And if you're playing some tough games in those back-to-backs, it wears on you. And it wears on you as time goes on, as you get older in the league. It wears on the older players. And I think this is a good deal. Works well for everyone involved, all the players, teams, etc. This is going to be a good move. Another move that they decided to stick with, which was surprising, because I think as much as Adam Silver was talking about extending this, they stuck with the one and done scenario, which means you have to at least be a year removed from high school. It doesn't matter if you're 19 here in the Americas. You have to be at least 1 year removed from high school. So this basically keeps the one and done rule in, where players go to college to keep, obviously abreast of what's going on and staying in shape and stay playing. And then they move on to the NBA draft the following year. Now, this does not apply for European players. If you are 19, you do not have to wait a year. You are allowed to enter the draft and be drafted. Hypocritical, maybe. But I am a fan of teams getting an opportunity, or players getting an opportunity to kind of learn the ropes a little bit. Now, I think if you're able to play, you're good enough to play, you should be able to play. But we run into a problem where in the NBA, there is a lot of guaranteed money floating around. And whether they put programs in place to help these young lads along at the age of 19, getting these big paychecks, a lot more media to deal with, a lot more of, just life falling upon them pretty quickly. And not really having the wherewithal to be able to handle all these things at once. If they can put a program in place, I think that if you're 19, you should be able to play, especially if you're good enough. Other than that, I know that Adam Silver's been strong about extending it, making it a little bit longer, so that players can develop in the college leagues. And I don't have a problem with that either. But also, guys like LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, those guys that come out and make it at 19 are very far and few in between. And if you're good, you're good, and you should be able to play. So I think those things are going to be good. It's going to be interesting, and we're going to talk a lot more NBA as time goes on. Like I said, we're going to talk about those Christmas Day games probably next week, um, and start looking at the NBA season. A lot of great basketball being played. Well, let's get into some NFL, and we have our first Saturday game coming up against it will be the New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins, and have to tell you. I'm not a fan of this game. This game has a possibility of being halfway decent, but the New York Jets have looked horrible offensively, and I expect much of the same. Although Miami Dolphins are on the up and up, they have put together and strung together some wins and are in the playoff hunt. And they're going to want to continue to keep that streak with the amount of yards and points that the Jets are allowing, and they're not scoring a lot of points, 17.6 to be exact. I look at this game as a wash. Another horrible game, just like this Thursday night game, horrible. And I expect it to be a blowout. A blowout. Miami Dolphins. I'm taking the Dolphins in that game. What more can you say? And I think Matt Moore can get it done. Matt Moore, one more, 1 week, maybe two. I think he can get the job done. They're not asking him to do a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what the Dolphins can make of this. The game is pretty much in their favor. Then we move on to the Indianapolis Colts and the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings 7-6, still in the playoff hunt. Colts just trying to win that division. And it looks as if the Colts have won the last three matchups. And the question is, if they win, does Adrian Peterson come back? If they lose, obviously, I don't think you bring him back. But they're definitely going to need to establish a run game. Minnesota has not been very effective as far as scoring points, only 19.8 points a game, and Andrew Luck has been able to get at least 25 a game. The issue with them is they're allowing 377 yards of offense. That is a problem. When you look at the points allowed for them, it's 25.6. That is a problem. But the good thing is that the Minnesota Vikings do not score points well. What I do like for Minnesota, they are at home, and they have the home field advantage, and they usually play better at home, and that's why I'm going to take the Vikings to beat the Colts. Defensively, I think they'll step up, make some plays. That offensive line is terrible over there. It's not that good. I won't say terrible. It's just not that good for Andrew Luck, and I expect them to get the win and continue to be in this hunt. Next, you have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati, we know, missing a lot of pieces, AJ Green, etc. And Pittsburgh's on a roll right now. They're smelling division win. They're smelling playoffs. And I think this roll continues. I don't know how you can go against them. I expect to see a lot from Le'Veon Bell in this game. And hopefully Ben Roethlisberger gets back on track. He's been a little bit off the last couple of weeks, but they've been relying heavily on the run. And I think that continues this week against the Bengals, and they'll get the win there, extending their win streak and putting it even closer for them, winning this the division there. Next, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars and Houston Texans. I mean, what is there to say about this game? Brock Osweiler isn't great, but the Jaguars are worse. So I'm going to go with the Houston Texans in that game. A really big game here. 2 9-4 teams. Probably one of the bigger games of the day on Sunday. Detroit Lions versus the New York Giants. The New York Giants beat the Dallas Cowboys in a 10-7 win. Defense played phenomenal, holding Dak Prescott in the pocket. I think he only threw for about 180 yards. Held him in the pocket, really forced him to make mistakes, held down Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think that happens this week, though. I know that the dislocated finger or whatever, but um, offensively, the Giants are just not good at all. Just not good at all. I think the way that the Lions have been playing offensively, the way that Matthew Stafford has been distributing the football, the way their defense has been playing. It's going to play big in this game. Turnovers an issue, and I think Eli, with his turnover prone, he turned it over against the Dallas Cowboys. They just could not capitalize. Detroit will capitalize. Detroit will win this game and become 10-4 in the division. Next, you have the Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. I don't know how you can go against them. They've been tough in there, and like I said, they're the lunch pail kids. They bring their hard hats and lunch boxes to work, and they grind. Tennessee has a good running game. Now, they won last week 13-10, but the opposing team that they played was unable to muster up any points. Don't expect that from the Kansas City Chiefs. They are a team that likes to start fast, and then they kind of just lull you to sleep. That's exactly what Alex Smith did in the previous game, and I expect him to do that here in Arrowhead. Their defense plays phenomenal at home, and I will take them to beat the Titans. Browns and Bills. Browns are not going to win a game this year, and it's sad, but they're not. They're not. I'm taking the Bills. Next, you have the Green Bay Packers, who are on the up and up, and the Chicago Bears, who are 3-10. But lately, the Chicago Bears, don't sleep on them. Don't expect that you're going to roll the helmets in and just win ball games. In the weather, then there will be people at this game, but the weather is supposed to be a negative like 1, a -1, -2 degrees, something ridiculous. And I think the Packers practiced outside today to kind of get prepared for that. We know it's cold in Lambeau. I don't think the cold will affect the Packers. I think it's going to be a better game than most give it, but I'm going to take the Packers in this game. I don't think the Bears can finish, but their defense has been playing absolutely well coming down the stretch. Just not enough offense to win. And next, you have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to take the Ravens here. Their defense is great. Again, I said it last week that they would not win that game on Monday night for the simple fact of Joe Flacco. But I think Joe Flacco redeems himself against a rookie quarterback. I think they find a way to hold them down, just as the Washington Redskins did. And the Ravens will get the win, try to keep pace with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another terrible matchup. I think this could be a 50-burger game. San Francisco 49ers 1-12. Atlanta Falcons 8-5. I don't think Julio Jones, I don't think he needs to play. If he does play, it's going to be a lot worse. But I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons to win here. And I think they're going to win big. 50-burger. I'm calling it 50-burger. Is going to be laid down. 2 touchdowns probably for Gabriel. The New Orleans Saints and the Cardinals. This is interesting because both teams are kind of the same. Very inconsistent on offense. Sometimes they can light you up and then they stall. Defensively, same thing. They can find ways to stop you and do it very well, and then at times they can't stop anything. But I'm going to take the Saints here. I like the matchup with Drew Brees and the weapons that they have. I think they were a little off last week, but I think they find a way to get it going with all those guys. Michael Thomas didn't even have a day at all, and with those weapons on the outside, Cooks, Thomas, and Willie Snead, I think they find a way to get it done against the Cardinals. And we have the Oakland Raiders against the San Diego Chargers. I'm going to take the Raiders. I really like what they're doing. They're another team that's just, they get it done. But the Chargers are not a team to sleep on. Their record really does not portray the way that they've played this season. Been a very tough team. I just think that the Raiders are better, and I'm going with the Raiders. Now we have the New England Patriots and the Denver Broncos. Man, the Denver Broncos are just sliding. I mean, they really are just sliding out of control here. They are 1-3 in their last 3 games, and that win being against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So any team that has a winning record or is decent, the Chiefs, they lost. Titans, they lost last week, could not muster up anything worth anything to be able to outscore them. They only were able to get 10 points. I like the New England Patriots here. They're on a roll. I know they're missing some things, but I expect them to blunt them to death. And the reason why I say that is because your defense can only be so great. And if you can't muster up a good time of possession, if you can't move the ball offensively, it's going to result in problems. It's going to result in big problems. And we're going to have major issues with defense tiring out. And you saw what the Patriots are able to do last week by running the football methodically. They're going to hit some big plays. I don't expect what did they get? They got Malcolm Floyd. I don't expect him to play, but they have enough weapons to get the job done. At the end of the day, it is Tom Brady. And I expect him to go in there and win this game, and probably by 10. Probably by 10. And I think we're going to find that the Denver Broncos are going to be sliding their way right out of here and right out of the playoffs. And that's just unfortunate. It really is. And last but not least, the Sunday night matchup, big matchup, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the hot Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming in to Dallas, the 11-2 Dallas Cowboys. This is going to be one you don't want to miss. Jameis Winston playing quite well. And really, last week, he even said it, put that on the defense. Defense was able to do an exceptional job just keeping them in the game. And it's going to take that type of performance against the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't know if there's a blueprint out there. I really don't. I thought the Giants did an excellent job. And I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can do the same. The question is, how well will Jameis play? How well will their defense play? And I am going to go with the upset pick here and take the Buccaneers. It's not that I don't believe in the Dallas Cowboys, but what I saw last week, I do not like. And it's what has been kind of coming down the pipe over the last few weeks. And that is, they need to open up the offense for Dak Prescott. The throws, the routes are all predictable. That's part of the reason why they didn't do so well against the Giants. I don't know if it's more of a great defense or poor offensive play calling, because those guys, the corners knew exactly where they were going. Those balls that flew out there and went in between the receivers, they knew where they were going to be. And the corners knew where they were going to be, and there was no one to throw to. And they've got to open it up. I think at this time, they also have to start filtering in Alfred Morris. Man, you carry the ball that much, it's going to start wearing on you. And they really need Ezekiel Elliott in the playoffs if they're going to try to make a Super Bowl run. That's going to be very important. And third, man, you got to stop talking about Romo. I don't know. I don't know. Stephen A. said it many times. Accident waiting to happen. And over, time and time again, especially now, they look like an accident waiting to happen when you got Jerry Jones talking about inserting or finding a way or whatever the case may be about Tony Romo. I don't like that talk. It's going to be a close one for sure. Tampa Bay is hot. Tampa Bay is hot, and I'm going to stick with that pick and pick the Buccaneers to beat the Cowboys on Sunday night. Well, we thank you for listening to the show. We went over a bit, But we get to talking football and talking about sports, and that's enjoyable. We appreciate you listening to the show. Again, if you want to get at us, you can get at me on Twitter at NotBland21. That's NotBland21. And if you don't do the Twitter thing, we have an email address for you, and you can email us at straightshootingst@gmail.com. That's straightshootingst@gmail.com. And if it's good enough, we'll discuss it right here on the show. Well, again, subscribe to the show on iTunes. You can listen to us, YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. And we will get at you on Monday. Enjoy the games on Sunday. Enjoy the game on Saturday if you're going to watch it. I'm not. And we'll get at you then.
Yeah, crab cakes and football. That's what Maryland does.